everybody, I'm Lisa Rowberry, your independent Scentsy consultant. Welcome back to my channel. Well friends, today we are going to continue on with our little sniff session series where we are sniffing our way through the 2024 fall and winter catalog. I love doing this every single catalog season with you guys. I was gonna say every single year, and I do this every single year, but I also do it every single catalog season. So one for spring and summer, one for fall and winter, and I love doing this with you. I hope you find it helpful because sometimes it helps to get someone's actual input on a fragrance rather than just reading a scent description, at least for me anyway. And I selfishly really like going through and re-smelling a lot of these fragrances that are returning and also some new releases as well. So let's go ahead and dive into today's category, which we are going to be sniffing our way through the spice category of fragrances that Scentsy has to offer for this fall and winter season. We have 15 different fragrances, so let's go ahead and get started. Let's see how many apple spice and pumpkin spice fragrances we can smell. Okay, so starting off with a bestseller, which is apple and cinnamon sticks. So what did I tell you? How many apples and pumpkin spice scents can we do? But there are different variations here, and this is a really great one. It is a bestseller for good reason. This is a pretty traditional, and I'm not saying that in like, it's not exciting, but a pretty traditional apple spice scent where you have that apple, you have that really red hot cinnamon spice that's up in the forefront, but I'm also getting like a woody element too that adds like an earthiness to it that I do really enjoy. So really love this one, and it's a nice strong performer as well. So apple and cinnamon sticks is described as apple peel, spiced white pumpkin, and a touch of oak. I don't get a ton of pumpkin in this, to be totally honest. It's really more apple and spice and that oak that's in there. I don't get a ton of pumpkin, but it is good. I do like that. So apple and cinnamon sticks. Next one is Autumn Hearth. So Autumn Hearth, this one is a good one, and this is the perfect example of why I really like to kind of revisit fragrances as well, because this is not a new fragrance by any means, but I think it was just last spring and summer season that my eyes really opened up to this scent, because when I was doing this sniff session with you guys, I was smelling it and I thought, this reminds me of something. And I always kind of thought it does remind me of something, but I couldn't imagine exactly what. But you know what it does? It reminds me of my childhood. And this is one of the most amazing things about fragrance and scent memory. Just the smell of a simple fragrance like this can take you back to your childhood, take you back to a particular time or place. And it's really amazing. And this takes me back to a particular time and place, a particular time in my life. This very specifically takes me back to when I used to go to my mom's work. She used to work at a dental office, and after school I would go to her work until she was off of work, and then we would go home. This was as I was a kid. I was pretty young. And I would always rip into they had in their like break room, they would have the instant hot apple cider. That's exactly what this smells like to me. This totally takes me back to that time. I love it. This just totally smells like instant hot apple cider. It's really great. So that kind of tells you what it smells like. So this is like I said, just hot apple cider. I get the apple, maybe a little bit of cinnamon, but it's not that red hot cinnamon. I feel like the apple and cinnamon sticks, that's more of a red hot cinnamon. This is just more of the cinnamon that's in apple cider. So Autumn Hearth is cue up a classic. Apple, cinnamon, and tonka are all about fall. It's really good. I really like that one. Okay, next one is Autumn Sunset. How many autumns can we go through? We've got Autumn Sunset, and this one's a really great one too. This one does, I think I do pick up some pumpkin in this. Do I pick up some pumpkin? I do. I was gonna say, this one I do pick up an even amount of apples and pumpkins with just a little hint of like some warm spices. Maybe not a hint, but it's not a red hot cinnamon. It's just like warm spices, but it's more apples and pumpkins that are in the forefront with just like, I'd say this is almost similar to Welcome Home. Spoiler alert, that's gonna be the last one we're gonna talk about. Autumn Sunset is definitely spicier. Welcome Home is sweeter. There's that. but same type of scent. I feel like if you like Welcome Home, but you want a little more spice, if you love spice fragrances, you want it less sweet, more spicy, I would go the Autumn Sunset route. So Autumn Sunset is like a snapshot of the season. Apples, pumpkins, fall leaves, and spices are picture perfect. So there you have it. Okay, next one for the spice category is Brown Butter Pumpkin, and this is a brand new release this season. And I have to say, I am intrigued to warm this, which I am gonna be, this is gonna be up in the next like day or two, but it kind of smells like popcorn to me. I don't pick up really any pumpkin from this. It's like, there's some nuttiness, some popcorn, some brown butter almost, but not really any pumpkin that I pick up on cold. We'll see what happens when it's melting, but on cold, I don't get a ton of pumpkin, to be honest. So new release this season, Brown Butter Pumpkin. Whip up a batch of seasonal spice, mixing melted butter, which I did say brown butter, melted butter and brown sugar with pumpkin for a tempting treat. We'll see. I actually was kind of thinking that there's no spice in this. I get 0 spice, so I don't think I agree with, I don't agree with this to be in the spice category. I actually feel like this should be in the bakery category. No matter what I pick up from this, it smells more bakery than it does spice. I get 0 spice from this. Okay, next one I know I love, and it is Christmas Cottage. And Christmas Cottage is a classic. This is a fantastic holiday fragrance. It's lovely. This is so nice. This is definitely spicy, but not too much. This is balanced really well. I think there's citrus in here and spice, and it's just giving the perfect kind of holiday vibe without it being necessarily a Christmas tree scent. And it is a bestseller for good reason, because it's so good. Christmas Cottage is described as a cozy, inviting blend of Valencia oranges, raspberries, cloves, and spices. Yes, it is so good. So, so good. Love that one. One of my all-time favorite fall fragrances, forever and ever, amen. Cider Mill. Cider Mill. Oh, I pray that Scentsy never, ever, ever, ever does away with this. It is a bestseller, so I'm hopeful that it stays around forever. This is fantastic. This is the perfect amount of apples, pumpkins, and just a whisper of spice. Now I know that I was saying that Autumn Sunset is apples, pumpkins, and spices, so that's the tricky thing with the spice category, which is why honestly I feel like it is the spice category during the fall and winter season that kind of birthed this this series, because you look down these description and it's apple, pumpkin, spices, apple, pumpkin, spices, apple, pumpkin, spices, but it's like, what does it, like, you want to know, like, this has to smell different, right? So that's why I kind of decided I wanted to do this particular series, and I've been doing it for years. This smells very different. This smells, in fact, if you are familiar with Bath & Body Works Pumpkin Apple, it smells exactly like this. So it's all apple, sweet pumpkin, with just a whisper of spice. And it's not even like, I like to say it's like, it's just adding some fall warmth, not necessarily spice. I almost, honest and truly, I don't even think that this belongs in the spice category. When I'm thinking, I'm looking at a spice category of fragrances, I would think, okay, these are gonna be really heavy on the spice. So for me personally, I don't necessarily care for a ton of spice in a lot of fragrances. In some of these, they are done really well to my liking. But for me personally, if I'm looking at just categories of fragrances, I'm probably not gonna pay a ton of attention to the spice fragrances. I would actually probably categorize this more as fruity, because I do get more of that apple and more of that pumpkin that comes through. And then just, like I said, just a whisper of just like warming spices to just warm it up a little bit. Almost non-existent. So good. One of my favorites ever. So good. You know that's going in my top 6 for sure. Oh, I didn't even read you the scent description. Bestseller Cider Mill is described as brings together fresh apples, crushed pumpkin, and simmering spices for a cozy autumn treat. 100%, I totally agree with the scent description. I just don't agree with the category. I think it really does belong in fruity rather than spice. But who am I? What does belong in the spice category is another bestseller, and it is Cinnamon Bear. 1,000,000,000% this belongs in the spice category. When I am looking through spice fragrances, this is what I'm thinking of. Apple and cinnamon sticks is what I'm thinking of. Even Autumn Sunset, that's what I'm thinking of. Cinnamon Bear, it smells like hot tamales. Or that it's that red hot candy cinnamon scent with nothing else. Just red hot candy cinnamon. So that's what that smells like in a nutshell. But Scentsy's fancy description is Cinnamon Bear is crisp, spicy cinnamon with a touch of cloves. Also known as candied cinnamon. Okay, next one is Cinnamon Vanilla. And this is where, like, if I was just looking down the spice category, I would be like, okay, this is probably gonna be a spice scent that's more up my alley. If you know me, I'm obsessed with vanilla scents. I love vanilla. If I were to pick one fragrance to warm for the rest of time, like all year round, that's it, would be vanilla. I love it. It may be super basic, but I love it. So Cinnamon Vanilla, this is great. It's not super strong, I will say, which you would think going down the spice category, all of these scents are gonna be super strong, and that's not necessarily the case. This one is actually pretty light, but it's nice. It is nice. And I think this is really well balanced between that red hot cinnamon, that like red hot spicy candy cinnamon, and sweet kind of creamy vanilla. It's a really nice balance. Not crazy strong, but it is a nice balance. So I do enjoy that. Cinnamon Vanilla is described as inviting blend of vanilla beans, cinnamon, coconut, and cassia. I get no coconut from that. Maybe the coconut's adding like some creaminess, I don't know, but vanilla beans for sure. Cinnamon, 100%. Everything else, who knows? Next one is Clove and Cinnamon. I'll give you 2 guesses, and the first one doesn't count. What do you think this smells like? Yep, it's Clove and Cinnamon. And it is, again, a really nice balance between the two where you can identify. For me personally, when it comes to spicy fragrances, and I think the reason being spice is not my favorite scent category. So for me, when I'm smelling clove, a lot of times I'm like, oh, that's spicy. Oh, that's spicy. And a lot of times I smell spice and I'm automatically thinking cinnamon. But this is a really nice balance, a balanced fragrance where you can pick up both the clove and the cinnamon, even for someone like me who just smells spice and I'm like, okay, it's just spice. You know, but really when you're breaking this down, you can smell almost the sweetness of the clove. The clove adds sweetness, the cinnamon adds hot for me in my nose. And that's what this does. So you've got the sweetness, like I said, from the clove, hotness from the cinnamon, and it's well balanced. Okay, so Clove and Cinnamon is classic scent of cinnamon sticks fused with cloves. Simple, to the point, and totally accurate. I don't agree with this next one at all. It is Farm Stand Pumpkin. For me, if I'm going down the spice category of fragrances here in my catalog and I'm seeing Farm Stand Pumpkin, I'm gonna think this is a pumpkin spice scent. This is not, to my nose, this is not. If I am meeting someone who says, set me up with a pumpkin scent that has no spice, this is actually what I'm going to set them up with. Like if they aren't wanting apple, if they're not wanting anything else to it, but they're wanting just a good sweet pumpkin scent with no spice, this is what I'm going to suggest every single time, because I don't pick up any spice in this whatsoever. And I feel like the other pumpkin scents we have, with the exception of brown butter pumpkin, because I don't actually smell pumpkin in that, but the other pumpkin scents that we have, like I do pick up some spice, different levels and different varieties, but this is the one I smell no spice in whatsoever. Just me? Comment below. Do you smell spice in this? Farm Stand Pumpkin, indulgent notes of fresh apple. I don't pick up apple, I just smell pumpkin. And I do smell caramel. Let's see, indulgent notes of fresh apple, cinnamon stick, pumpkin, ding, 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 and caramel, ding, ding, ding. So I would say yes to the pumpkin and caramel. I don't pick up cinnamon, I don't pick up apple. Maybe the apple might be adding some like fresh elements to it. So it's not, because pumpkin's sweet, caramel's very sweet. So you would think that would be very cloyingly sweet, but it's not. So maybe the apple is adding just some freshness that kind of brightens it up a little bit. That's all I can think of, but it's not like predominant. Like when you're thinking apple pumpkin and you're smelling farm stand pumpkin versus cider mill, two totally different fragrances, totally different. Both great, both have their different elements, different highlights, but totally different. That's what I mean about this category. It's like you have just a bunch of different variations of apple pumpkin spice, but they're all so different. So that is farm stand pumpkin. Next one is First Day of Fall, and First Day of Fall is a great one. And this one, there is some earthy elements, some woody earthy elements in here. I do think there's some apple, there might be some pumpkin. Let's see here. So there's actually there's no apple, but I am getting some freshness from this. So First Day of Fall's, all the best parts are here. Just picked pumpkin. So it is that like earthy kind of pumpkin scent. A breath of autumn woods. I did say I smelled some like woody elements to this. Ground nutmeg, which adds some warmth, some added sweetness, and a spicy dash of cinnamon. But I do almost pick up some apple in this too. But mostly you get the woods, you get the pumpkin, and I don't get like a ton of spice from that. I do pick up the nutmeg for sure, but I don't get like spicy cinnamon. So that's just my 2 cents, but I love it for sure. Next one is a new release, which is Leaves and Lavender. Leaves and Lavender, like I said, is a new release. And if you haven't had a chance to have a little laugh, you can check out the first sniffs with my husband, Sean, of the new releases. I will link it down below. I will also put a card up here on the screen. His opinion of the scent was, what is that? What is that? And I would agree. I definitely would not call this spice. This, I pick up like, I do pick up earthiness of like fall leaves, and I think I pick up a little bit of lavender. I also pick up some like apple cider kind of vibes, which is kind of different. I don't pick up any spice. I don't agree that this belongs in the spice category. I would actually probably consider this to be a wood or floral scent. I don't pick up any spice. It's different. It is different for sure. Leaves and Lavender, soothing lavender and a hint of clove wrapped up in fall leaves invite you to relax. So while there is clove in there, I don't pick up any spice. No sweet spice, no clove, no cinnamon spice, I don't pick up any spice. It's more, and I don't know I guess I am picking up like apple cider, but I'm not getting spice per se. It's a different one. She's different. Okay, Maple Apple Bourbon. And this is a great one if you are looking for a sweet, and again, I don't really pick up a ton of spice in this. And I don't know if that's because the maple in this is very sweet, so it's kind of I don't want to say it's overpowering because that sounds bad, but it is apple, maple for sure. Bourbon, I think there is a little bourbon element, but it's not boozy. It's not a boozy kind of bourbon, if that's a thing. Maple Apple Bourbon is juicy red apple and rich maple. It is a very rich scent. It's sweet and rich. Rich maple, get in the holiday spirit with a splash of bourbon. I would agree with that. Definitely don't think it's spice. Really do not. I think I would probably categorize this as fruity if it were me. So that's just me. Okay, and next one is Pumpkin Cinnamon Swirl. This is your pumpkin spice bakery scent. I don't agree with this to be in the spice category. While there is spice in this, I think very close cousins or maybe even siblings would be Pumpkin Cinnamon Swirl and Pumpkin Roll. In our bakery category that we just sniffed through, Pumpkin Roll was in that one. I would actually switch like flip-flop these two fragrances, have pumpkin cinnamon swirl in the bakery category and have pumpkin roll and spice. Because to me, pumpkin roll has more of a spicy note to it than pumpkin cinnamon swirl. Even though cinnamon is in the name, this is sweeter. This is sweeter. It's very, very similar to pumpkin roll. Think pumpkin roll, like, because I like to describe pumpkin roll as like a pumpkin cinnamon roll. This is a pumpkin cinnamon roll with a thick, sweet icing on top. It's so good. This is really good. While there is spice to it, I just think that pumpkin roll and pumpkin cinnamon swirl need to flip-flop from spice to bakery and vice versa. So, just my 2 cents. Pumpkin cinnamon swirl is fresh pumpkin garnished with cinnamon stick and a dollop of whipped icing. Delectable. It is so, so good. Okay, and last but most certainly not least is Welcome Home. Welcome Home is a classic. I'm surprised it's actually not listed as a bestseller, but it is a classic and one that is so dang good. It typically is around all year, although while I love it, I really only reach for it during this time of year. It is sweet berries, warm spices. This reminds me of walking into a craft store during this time of year, and it just fills my soul with happiness. It's so good. I love this. Not a powerhouse. I'd probably consider this a medium scent throw, but so good. So good. Also, this is available as a brick through Scentsy Club. Scentsy Club is our subscription service that you can put any of your favorite consumable products into a club subscription, have it come to you every 1, 2, or 3 months. All kinds of perks. And then there is a perk of getting some of our best-selling fragrances in brick size. So if you love a scent like Welcome Home, you can actually get it in a brick size and then melt your favorite scents until the cows come home. It's so, so good. I love it. Welcome Home is described as warm and welcoming with cinnamon and spices. But there is a sweetness to this. Like I said, I get like some fall like berries, like cranberries. They're just fall fruity berries with the cinnamon and spices. And it just smells like it's so comforting to me. This smells so comforting to me. Like I'm walking into a craft store and it just makes my fall of an heart so happy. So there we have it. That is the spice category of fragrances available for this 2024 fall and winter season. And as always, I like to share with you my top 6 picks for this category. This was actually a pretty easy one. Some of them I'm like, oh, I don't know, or I need to, think about this or remove something. But this was actually very easy for me. And I did fill all 6, I will say, and not in any particular order. But this is my favorite of the 6. Cider Mill. Cider Mill would easily be my top pick for this category, easily. Not only top pick for this category, but one of my probably my top 3 favorite fragrances for the fall time. It's so good. Cider Mill has my heart. I love it. So good. So it had to make my top 6. Easy, hands down, no questions asked. Also pumpkin cinnamon swirl because, well, I love pumpkin scents. I love pumpkin scents, and this one is done so well. It's a fabulous pumpkin bakery scent, and I am here for it. Pumpkin cinnamon swirl had to make my top 6 pick. Welcome Home. Welcome Home. You saw me. I mean, I'm like, this is just one of those scents that just makes you feel some kind of way. It just makes your soul happy, and that's what this does for me. So Welcome Home had to make my top 6. Easy, easy peasy. Next one will be Christmas Cottage. Love this one. Maybe not necessarily right now, but more towards, November, December. For sure. Maybe even the end of October. Because it's not too holiday. Like, it's holiday, but it's not. If it doesn't smell like a Christmas tree, I can be a little bit more flexible with when I'm warming this. Next one will be First Day of Fall. Had to make my top 6. So good. And then last but not least, like I said, scent evokes memory, and this one does that for me, and it is Autumn Hearth. So those would be my top 6 picks for the spice category. Let me know down below in the comments, what are your top picks for the spice category of fragrances that Scentsy has available for us for this season. I love hearing from you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you like this type of content, if you like this series. I greatly appreciate the love and support. If you're new, please subscribe. If you're already subscribed, be sure to hit the notification bell. That way you stay up to date with all things Scentsy. Have an amazing day, you guys, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye. Bye, friends.